A modified shootout at Penn Can Speedway. The Great Race draws closer. We continue our look at the American Endurance Racing Series. An interview with Shane Wolf Jr. All that and more on this edition of The Race Report. Hi everyone and welcome to another edition of the Race Report. I'm Ron Hills. On June 24th, the Great Race will make a stop at the Northeast Classic Car Museum in Norwich, a great family destination for all ages. Frank Whitney is a veteran of the Great Race.
The Great Race, to me and to most people, is the hardest you'll ever have to work at having fun in a car. I mean, it is hard work, like Elliot said, and a lot of things happen. But you really have to concentrate. What he didn't tell you about is how hard you have to concentrate in the car, because if you are more than 3 seconds or so off time per leg, you're probably out of the race. You're not going to win. So you have to concentrate like you've never concentrated before. And among that, there is just one funny story I'll tell you about my overland. When we started the race in Ottawa, my navigator wasn't prepared. Okay? He didn't read the part where the instructions were no longer printed on Kevlar. And Kevlar is like a waterproof paper. Well, we started out and it wasn't 15 minutes and it started to rain. When the rain came, I looked at him. He couldn't read the instructions anyway because he had these really nice looking antique Harley goggles on. And it looked like there was little tornadoes going on inside the goggles. So he couldn't read anything. He couldn't do anything. And then I looked at the instructions. The instructions were getting wet. And there goes a page. There goes another page. All our pages. Here we are, no instructions. No navigator. He was worthless to me. And all I could do is what they call hack. I had to step on the car, because we started out 1 minute apart, and we were on a road that I hoped we didn't make any turns until I caught up to the next participant, okay? And so I caught up to him, and I followed, and I hacked on him, and my time was off, but at least they didn't have to send the dogs out looking for me, you know? So these are things that just happen in the race. We have some great memories in the race. And yes, I did sell a car to my friends here, and I caused them all this expense of getting in the race. And Louise Feeney, I just want to mention Louise because she is, I wouldn't sell her that car when she wanted to buy it unless she promised to do well in the race. She promised to do well, and they did. They won their first year. So it's, we've had a lot of good things, a lot of good competition from this area. We've had some great racers that have done really well.
When we return, a modified showdown at Penn Can Speedway. But first, a look at this week's Car of the Week from Brush and Pallet Auto in Candor.
30 years of satisfied customers. That's the proud history of Brush and Pallet Auto in Candor. We have a large selection of cars, trucks, and SUVs. Here is this week's Car of the Week. We'll give you a $1,000 minimum trade-in, and we have financing options to fit your needs, including a first-time buyers program. Think you can't afford it? We think you can. Check us out at brush-pallet.com or visit us in person at 598 Owego Road in Candor, New York.
Unicorn Electronics in the Valley Plaza, Johnson City has the best pricing and selection of audio, video, and computer cables in the area. Don't spend a fortune on that HDMI cable for your new HD TV or Blu-ray player. Unicorn Electronics has quality cables in the lengths you need at a price you can afford. Expanding your network, Unicorn has the patch cables and accessories to make it happen. When you need to connect, think Unicorn Electronics in the Valley Plaza, Johnson City.
Hey car buffs, listen up. If you like them, we got them. And you'll love the Northeast Classic Car Museum. Over 170 cars on display in our huge one-level facility. Whatever the weather, we're open 7 days a week from 9 to 5 in Norwich.
If you're looking for the most convenient and profitable way to change your gold jewelry, coins, and sterling silver into cash, visit Solid Gold Jewelry.
Main Street in Enwell, Solid Gold Jewelry, always a sweet deal.
98.1 The Hawk, Binghamton's #1 for new country. That means more Luke. I can't move when you move. More Carrie.
Now I'll have to hang you out to try.
More Jason.
Come on, everybody screaming.
More Keith.
Blue looks good on the sky.
More Blake. Glenn and Tracy in the morning, Binghamton's #1 for new country. 98.1 The Hawk.
Welcome back to the Race Report. With the future of Penn Can Speedway looking bright, Shane Wolf Jr. has chosen to keep his Friday night racing close to home.
As a race car driver, I've been trying to go around and support, the promoters that have a lot of heart into it for the sport rather than the business side of it. But this year, Chad and his family, they seem to really, really change things up from how it's been, and hopefully Penn Can turns around. The first aspect of racing I was involved in was, I was probably 5 years old. I started off on dirt bikes, actually. But when I was 11 or 12 or so, my father got back into stock car racing in 2002. And then from then on, I was still racing dirt bikes, but he was racing cars. And then it got to the point where we had to focus on one or the other. In 2009, I started racing stock cars, and since then, it's been my passion. My first stock car was actually, it was a street stock that was built in, actually the year that I was born, 1992. So it was an old asphalt late model that was as old as I was. I first started racing here full time, and then I ventured out to 5 Mile Point a little bit, and then the next year I raced here in 5 Mile Point as well. But over the past couple years, I kind of strayed away from my home tracks, and I've raced Thunder Mountain, Skyline, Afton. I traveled to the big races, Outlaw and Woodhall, and all of them. We only had one season where we both raced full time, and I'll have to say that was probably the funnest time of my career so far, just because not many people have had me laughing inside my helmet as hard as I did racing against him. Between the two of us, we had probably 18 or 19 wins between 5 Mile Point and Penn Can. So that year we did very well, but it was split pretty evenly amongst the both of us. For sure, on a week-to-week basis, basically it's just me and my father in the shop, but we've got a couple of handymen that really, they come around for us if needed in crunch time. Ben Mergoli, he's always around if we need him. Tom Guerin, Rob Tyree, they help us tremendously when needed. If we need them, they're there. But week-to-week maintenance, it's me and my father. But as far as the sponsors, I've got a lot of them, and over the course of my career, they've done a lot for me, and I haven't lost any of them. So since I've been racing, I've had their loyal support, and I can't thank them enough. That's Steve Torje and NEP Telephone Company. He's always asking me if I need anything, and I can't thank him enough. He's a loyal race fan. He's an avid racer. He has a passion for it, and I can't thank him enough. Triple D Flagstone, Alan Decker, he came on board a couple years ago, and since then he's the same way. He's always asking me if I need anything, and again, I can't thank him enough. Wildside Graphics, they always help me out, make my car look awesome. They're one of the most fair-priced graphics people around, and I think they do a great job. This year I switched up my motor program a little bit, Moose Motors. It's a little bit different, but I got to give recognition to Dan Morden and Morden Motors, because he's who I've always gone to, and he's always there if I need him. And so I got to thank the both of them, Moose and Morden Motors. Denny Decker Logging, he's, again, one of them people that always makes sure I have what I need. Joel Batesel, Nitro Fabrication, builds one heck of a race car, and again, he always is willing to offer any type of advice or hints or tips, whatever, to try to make the car go faster. We're always picking each other's brains. Rhino Transportation, again, that's Rob Tyree, one of them people that's just always making sure I have what I need. It's actually a random number that my father and my uncle, they picked out when they started racing back in the 90s, and I just carried down from him to me.
Shane had a good run in his feature. Craig Hawley calls the action.
Race fans, it's street stock feature time. You know what that means. The smell of the 110 octane fuel, rubber burning, mud slinging. Hold on to your seats. Sam's flags a waving. Green means go in the field. The street stock's taking the turn number 1. Doug Stack Jr. up on the outside of the speedway. Cranks the RPMs up off corner number 2. Everyone negotiates 1 and 2. They're 3 wide for second. Shaner down on the inside. John White in the middle. Up on the outside is Kevin Garland. Shane Wolf Jr. backs out just a little bit. Battle for second between Garland and John White. Meanwhile, leading lap number 1 is Doug Stack Jr., the Athens driver driving that car. It is numbered 41S. His late friend Chad Sidoni used to drive the number 1S in street stocks. He has driven that number 41S since his untimely passing a couple of years ago. Doug Stack Sr. just going down into the infield. The 4-1S leads him up the back straightaway. Kevin Garland is second. Doug Paul Hamas third. Fourth is the 81 of Shane Wolf. John White throws it up on the outside into turn number 3 and 4. Meanwhile, out front, it's that 4-1S of Doug Stack Jr. Doug Stack Jr. off of quarter number 2. Doug Paul Hamas working underneath the 19 of Kevin Garland for position number 2. Doug Stack Jr. rides it off of quarter number 4. He's picked up a win here a couple seasons ago. On opening night, right now, he knows how to get around the Penn Can Speedway Oval, and he's showing the fast way in the 4-1S. Doug Paul Hamas up to the number 2 spot, and Shane Wolf Jr. gets by the 19 of Garland for third. Dougie Fresh riding second. Paul Hamas is third. Doug Stack Jr. rides out front. Doug Stack Jr. has run a perfect race so far. Second and third place running. Doug Paul Hamas and Shane Wolf Jr. get together. That's going to make Wolfie have to make up a whole lot of ground in just 3 laps. It's the Doug and Doug show in the front row. Doug Stack Jr., Doug Paul Hamas in the turn number 3. Parallel sticks are in the sky 2 more times around the speedway for Doug Stack Jr. Doug Paul Hamas riding there in the number 2 spot. Shane Wolf Jr. trying to chase him down. Lap traffic in the next lap and a half could become an issue. They're racing in front of your leaders. White flag is now in the air for your race leaders. Doug Stack Jr. sets it down in the quarter number 1 and 2. Lap traffic in front of him. Paul Hamas going to take a look down on the inside of a quarter number 2. Anything to it. He's going to pull alongside. They touch down the back straightaway into turn 3. Doug Stack Jr. Now Paul Hamas to the outside. Oh, but turn number 4. Checkered flag is in the air. At the line, it's going to be Doug Stack Jr. Doug Paul Hamas is second. Shane Wolf Jr. third. Eric Beach is fourth.
And what a finish to the modified feature. Back to Craig Hawley.
Out front, 22 laps will go up in lights on the Pepsi scoreboard for the 119 of Brian Malcolm. Steve Davis trying to chase him down. Rudalovich and Hartnett battling for third. Hartnett tries to go the outside. That's for position number 3. Brian Malcolm trying to lead the way off of 4:23. Laps now complete. Just 7 remain. Steve Davis is striking. He is waiting for his opportunity. Hartnett up to the number 3 spot now. 24 laps complete. 6 remain. What a battle shaping up out front. Steve Davis, the driver out of Jackson, New Jersey, riding in position number 2 on the back bumper. He can smell it. He's ready to get around the 119 of Malcolm. He wants to get it done off lap traffic. He takes a bid down to the inside. It's the 119 of Malcolm showing the way. Davis rides there in the number 2 spot. Hartnett trying to reel them both in. Brian Malcolm again will slide up. Steve Davis will take a look to the inside. 26 and 4. 26 down, 4 remain. Kevin Hartnett, the fastest car on the track right now. Kevin Hartnett has reeled them into within 3 car lengths. Kevin Hartnett chasing down your leaders. Davis has not felt pressure all race long. He's going to have it now with just 3 laps to go. Hartnett way up on the outside, trying to make it happen. Parallel sticks are in the sky. 2 more times around the speedway. And race fans, we got a battle. Hartnett is now right there. Brian Malcolm trying to hold off Steve Davis. Hartnett right there in the mix as well. Davis going to get a run on the inside, but Hartnett, the stalker, stalking the prey and going to the outside. White flag in the air. Malcolm, Davis, Hartnett into turn number 1. Hartnett on the outside. It rides Malcolm. Final time backstretch. Hartnett to the inside in turn 3. Scores stand by. On turn number 4. It's a 3-car battle, but the win goes to Brian Malcolm. Kevin Hartnett with a hard charge in second place finish. Third to the 13 of Steve Davis. And fourth, the 145 of Alan Rudalovich. And fifth is Dan Pompey.
And here's a look at all the winners Friday night at Penn Can Speedway. Still to come, racing action from Skyline Raceway Park, and we continue our look at the American Endurance Racing Series.
For 3 generations, we've been building world-class American performance.
Like the new Edelbrock Power Package Top End Kit, based on Edelbrock's powerful RPM crate engines. Each kit includes aluminum heads and intake, cam and lifters, gaskets, and hardware to build your own 400-plus horsepower Chevy small block. For 3 generations, it's pure American performance from the leader. Call now for your free Edelbrock catalog.
Edelbrock makes them right here in the USA.
If you're looking for the most convenient and profitable way to change your gold jewelry, coins, and sterling silver into cash, visit Solid Gold Jewelry.
Main Street in Endwell, Solid Gold Jewelry, always a sweet deal.
Hey car buffs, listen up. If you like them, we got them. And you'll love the Northeast Classic Car Museum. Over 170 cars on display in our huge one-level facility. Whatever the weather, we're open 7 days a week from 9 to 5 in Norwich.
30 years of satisfied customers. That's the proud history of Brush and Pallet Auto and Candor. We have a large selection of cars, trucks, and SUVs. Here is this week's Car of the Week. We'll give you a $1,000 minimum trade-in, and we have financing options to fit your needs, including a first-time buyer's program. Think you can't afford it? We think you can. Check us out at brush-pallet.com or visit us in person at 598 Owego Road in Candor, New York.
Welcome back to the Race Report. We continue our look at the American Endurance Racing Series, which offers fun and affordable racing with emphasis on safety and parity. Josh Ashby introduces us to one of the AER's most successful teams.
This is Josh Ashby once again here with the Race Report, and I'm here with car owner of the number 955 JFF BMW, Bruce Peter. Bruce, what made you choose AER? I mean, with all the other options that you could have for a BMW, why AER?
Well, I actually had built my car for a BMW Spec Series IS, and I had it all set up. I had the final inspections done, and it was all ready to go. And my plan was to, I believe, race in the fall of 16 and then the spring of 17. Somebody invited me down to Road Atlanta to rent a seat. And so I rented a seat from my good friend Wayne Mowbray, an RT, and it was instant hooked at that point. And there was a few cars on the circuit that I knew we could beat with my car, so I set out to do that. And here I am, and it's been a blast. It's been an absolute blast.
Of course, last year we managed to get third over 100 teams, was it, in the championship? As a rookie team owner, how does that feel for you?
Oh, it's awesome. I mean, I don't set out to do anything half-assed. I set out to win at everything that I do, and I was very fortunate to hook up with Chris, who brought in a couple of extra people, yourself being one of them, and I also had a good friend, Ron Checa, who I knew was an excellent driver, who recruited David Pan. And I knew we had a great team. I knew we had a very reliable car and a good car. And I knew we had a shot. As a matter of fact, when we won Watkins Glen, I remember turning to Chris and telling him I knew we were going to win today. And we did. And we went through the season with some bumps and bruises, and some scuffs, but we managed enough podium points to take third place overall. And it was an awesome feeling. Awesome feeling.
How was it to see one of your, well, for lack of a better phrase, ducklings manage to get that third place trophy last year, and to see this team gel in the way that it has?
Well, not only is a team essentially a duckling, but I brought some new crew members that were basically green into the fold. Some guys that had never done endurance racing before. So to have that kind of success, be able to put together a team. The feeling of pride is hard to describe, and it all came full circle at the last race of the year when I had food poisoning and I had to step back from some of my normal, quote, running the team duties, focus on the driving and the coaching. I still drove 5 hours, mostly in the rain, to bring home a win, while my crew and team that I'd gotten together, the machine just worked. My girlfriend, Brittany Drawley, TJ, Yard, Jonathan Reitz, I couldn't do it without them. And to be able to put the team together like that, it's hard to even put it in words.
And our look at the American Endurance Racing Series will continue next week. Still to come, racing action from Skyline Raceway Park, and a look ahead at what's coming up this Memorial Day weekend.
You're watching the Race Report on Fox 40.
"30 years of satisfied customers. That's the proud history of Brush and Pallet Auto in Candor. We have a large selection of cars, trucks, and SUVs. Here is this week's Car of the Week. We'll give you a $1,000 minimum trade-in, and we have financing options to fit your needs, including a first-time buyers program. Think you can't afford it? We think you can. Check us out at brush-pallet.com or visit us in person at 598 Owego Road in Candor, New York.
Welcome back to the Race Report. Taking a look ahead at this weekend's racing action, Penn Can Speedway is in action on Friday night. Saturday night looks good for Skyline Raceway Park to return to racing action. On Sunday, Skyline Raceway Park welcomes another round of the small track racing series, including karts, mowers, and microds. The Northern Division of Brett Deo's Short Track Super Series invades Thunder Mountain on Sunday, and Champion Speedway in Owego kicks off their 2018 season with Speedway bikes and quads. Even though Skyline Raceway Park rained out on Saturday night, we bring you some action from the previous week. On the microphone is Jim Chase.
Charlie Towner, Tim Parker, green, and we are racing here at Skyline Raceway. Down into turn one, it's Charlie Towner. Leading Tim Parker and Eric Williams. Out of turn number 4 they will come. Dan Searles looking to the low side of Allison Pierce. A little bit of contact down there, but everybody hangs on, and Searles will take over the number 4 spot down the back straightaway. Towner starting to stretch out his lead quite a bit. As Parker, Williams, and Searles, and around goes Eric Williams right in front of Dan Searles.
We lost one of the good guys last week. John Cederberg was a racer, a track official, a loving husband and stepdad, and a friend to everyone he met. The world will be just a little sadder without John in it, so we leave you this week remembering John Cederberg.
When you're down and troubled and you need a helping hand and nothing is going right, close your eyes and think of me, and soon I will be there to brighten up even your darkest night. You just call up my name, and you know wherever I am, I'll come running. Oh yeah, baby, to see you again. Winter, spring, summer or fall, now all you got to do is call, and I'll be there, yeah, yeah, yeah. You've got a friend.